Amazing.
And welcome to episode 2. Ooh, echo. Welcome to episode 218 of the most must-see award-winning show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves, or any airwaves for that matter. North, south, east, west, backwards, frontwards, diagonally, sideways, any which way you look at it, all around the world. The Wrestling Connection. I am your host, your connection to the wrestling world, the pontiff of the pro wrestling populace, the savant of the squared circle, the perfect Ken, Mr. Ken Hill, delivering all the news to you in professional wrestling today. Alongside me, as always, the ever-present yin to my omnipresent yang.
The consumer of wrestling knowledge, the prize fighter of the Wrestling Connection, the legacy of Team Kaufman, the dragon with the gold, the breaker of Kens, the soon-to-be 30, Dan Kaufman.
Yes, Mr. Birthday Boy himself.
Happy birthday.
Tomorrow he will be the big, just like me, the big 3. Ew.
Wow.
Wow,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
old.
Yes, I am. That's why you're not going to see me tomorrow, because you see no evil on May 19th.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
May 19th. May 19th.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't scream into the microphones, please.
May 19th.
No, you're not old. That's young chicken.
Young, okay.
Do we have a happy birthday song, Nick?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. You were about to
Anyway,
introduce
we have to
someone.
pay Disney
Moving on,
for that,
we
so.
are, for once, we are not alone out here in the studio today. We have a very, very special guest coming all the way from Merrimack, New Hampshire. We welcome you, the cousin of our WK Big Four pay-per-view champion, Allison, Mr. James.
How are ya?
I can hear him. Good.
Okay.
I'm James. I like Stone Cold.
Can't hear him.
Can't hear. All right. Here we go.
It's okay. Don't worry. It's all right.
Yep.
You're fine.
Just speak right into the mic.
Yeah, just put it right up.
I like my first actual match that I probably watched would probably be Rock Austin.
From WrestleMania 17.
We
Right?
need 3 mics.
17, yes.
Yeah, just like you.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. We got something in common already. From
You're okay. You're okay. Don't worry about the mic. You're okay. All right. So James, what I want to ask you is, what got you into wrestling? Like, I mean, I know you said Stone Cold is your favorite. Stone versus Rock is your favorite match. What inspired? Oh, we
You got a third mic? Yep.
got a third mic. Here we go.
Alrighty.
We got a little.
Hello, Julie.
Hello.
We got a little echo in the studio today. Echo. All right. Oh, there you go. Okay, so what I was trying to ask before is, what got you into wrestling? Like what about it, pops to you? Just really appeals to you?
Probably just growing up when I was watching. Probably when I was watching growing up, I was watching TV. I just happened to flip through it, and it's like I saw Austin on the TV. I think it was Raw. It was either Raw or SmackDown. Decided, hey, this is kind of cool. It's like funny, and you know.
Well, so I mean, they just kind of popped to you. Like, I mean, I remember you and I talking about this right before the show started. Like they were very superhero type personalities. Like very
superhero.
bombastic personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people like the fact that, when you see them, they're larger than life personalities. They stand out from the crowd, and when that happens, they become the heroes to the little kids who watch them.
Exactly. Like, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, look. I mean, when I was 13, first match I saw, just like James, Stone Cold versus The Rock, and it's like I was watching two superheroes clash here, two like you said, bigger than life personalities, the two biggest stars of their generation,
Absolutely.
going at it in the ring. I mean, they had a trilogy of matches at WrestleMania, which was
So a lot of people think that 17, the second match, was definitely the best.
the best, topping off what was probably one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time in professional wrestling history. So, honestly, you.
That's a good choice.
As far as matches go, I think you couldn't have picked much better.
I think it's funny. Well, my first match wasn't Austin Rock. My first match still had Austin. So Austin brought all of us to wrestling here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so the Stone Cold trio. But
The Hulk Hogan of our generation.
It's not wrong saying. Hogan
the
brought a
60s.
lot of people in during the 80s. Austin brought a lot of people in during the 90s.
during the
late
Attitude Era. So I mean, there aren't a lot of doubters out there. I'm certainly not one of them. Stone Cold was, I think, probably the greatest contributor of in the 90s when it came to professional wrestling. I don't think there was any doubt. I think something that proved to be a great contributor, at least in the 2000s anyway, in the new millennium, wasn't necessarily a wrestler, but a gimmick. A gimmick that was innovated by Chris Jericho in 2005, one that even had its own pay-per-view created just 8 years ago in 2010. Money in the Bank.
Very true.
Was the Money in the Bank concept, which the pay-per-view, which we'll be breaking down in the coming weeks, leading up to Money in the Bank in June. We seem to be having a bit of an echo problem here. Can we turn the volume down just a little bit? Okay. Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. All right. So, it's been such a fascinating concept throughout the years.
Yeah, Money in the Bank has been used to elevate superstars who you think would never get to the main roster have a shot at being the top guy, at least for the fans.
Right. I mean, there have been times where it has done what, like you said, it's elevated a superstar's career. Other times, people look at it as more of a crutch rather than a proper boost.
A lot of the naysayers, a lot of them I know for a fact would say, well, this person didn't earn the shot; he took advantage of it. Where's his chase for the gold?
Right.
Instead of just waiting in the wings. So now,
right. Where was he before this?
Yes.
Where did he stand? Where did he stand out before this?
Like the hat.
Thank you.
No, that one.
No, James.
That one does cooler tricks.
Very snazzy. James, that's a very snazzy hat you're wearing.
Very snazzy.
Snazzy indeed. All right.
Former winners, you've had Edge, you've had CM Punk, you've had Dolph Ziggler,
You've had Seth.
when he was popular.
Right. I mean, Seth Rollins.
Seth, definitely. Dean Ambrose.
Damien Sandow.
which we had high hopes for.
Right. So, well, I mean...
Randy Orton, where we used for a heel turn.
Right,
Yeah.
Randy Orton. So, I mean, a lot of superstars have either benefited or in many different ways. And we're going to actually talk about, we're actually going to be talking about a different aspect of Money in the Bank each week. Breaking it, we're going to be having a special Money in the Bank feature every week, starting this week. We'll actually be covering the best and worst of Money in the Bank winners next week's show. However, this week, what we want to talk about is the upcoming Money in the Bank. Essentially, who we now know is going to be in Money in the Bank, both for the men's and the women's match, and ultimately, who will benefit most? Who's most likely to win it? So let's start with the men's match. Let's start with the men's match. Okay. I'm guessing Nick's a little upset that I didn't introduce the out of control room, which is why we're about to be eaten by a gigantic me.
So, in the out of control booth, the person who decided to put the giant Ken figure.
Apparently, we're about to be eaten.
Is somebody a little salty.
Julie, you're our only hope.
Julie, save us. All right, so in the out of control room today, we have, of course, Mr. Nick Giulio and the lovely Miss Julie Manugian.
Hello.
There we go. Julie with 2 snazzy hats, apparently. Anyway, like I was saying, back to money. Moving on, changing gears back to Money in the Bank here. Let's start with the women's match. Let's start with the women's match. So far, we know 4 of the 8 participants in this year's Money in the Bank match. Now, with any luck, this will turn out much more fruitful than the inaugural women's Money in the Bank match we had last year.
Hey, do not knock the last year's Money in the Bank. We had one of the greatest women superstars to ever show up in the WWE to win the briefcase and then hand it to the next person who he thought might be good. James Ellsworth, the intergender champion.
The greatest intergender champion in history.
Duh.
That one's to you, Ellsworth.
Good luck on Impact.
Okay. Yeah. And anyway, so right now,
Charlotte's trying to steal your look.
well, she could probably pull up better than I could.
Ken looks better.
Oh,
Thank you, Greg.
Oh.
Hey, low blow. That's a Nakamura shot. That's a knock a shot.
Knock a shot.
That's a knock a shot. All right. So anyway, okay.
So you have for the currently
The
women's match.
You have the former Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss.
The
You have
former
former SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion Charlotte. You have former NXT Women's Champion Ember Moon, and you have former first-time SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't mind any of these 4 women taking the briefcase.
All right, so let's start with Alexa, who the hat was on.
The hat revealed to us first.
I thought the hat would actually make a nice little cursor right there, so we don't have to point everywhere.
Do not poke at their nose.
Exactly. So I thought we could use the hat for that.
So above my head, the other Kaufman, Alexa Bliss.
Okay, so let's get the hat over Alexa. Let's discuss her first.
So Alexa,
It's
she
not
just
moving. Hold
recently
on.
lost her Raw Women's title to Nia Jax and then tried to go on an anti-bullying campaign, which was a lot of fun.
Yes, which had such a
And funny.
And very funny.
oh yeah, and had
It's
such a
a
nice subtle message to it. Not at all have anything to do with WWE's anti-bullying campaign at
Be a star,
all.
kids. But in the end, Alexa Bliss was unable to defeat Nia Jax to reclaim her title.
So now she's on the outside looking in for once and looking to get back into the championship picture.
And there is no better way to do it than to be able to declare a match at any time.
But the thing is, all right, and we're kind of doing this on kind of like a scale of 1 to 5. Like how likely is she to really win the Money in the Bank here? Like this is all based all right, how likely she is to win it, how much she really needs it. Here's a question. Does Alexa, as a former champion on both Raw and SmackDown, does she really need Money in the Bank? Considering that her loss is still fresh in people's minds. Like, she can still be put back into the championship picture at any time without really having to, have to have the briefcase.
Like, Alexa, the only thing that really benefits her in this is the fact that her wrestling gimmick would make her an opportunistic type, which tends to do very well in Money in the Bank.
And the fact that she has a cohort in Mickie James who she could use to potentially soften up whoever may be the Raw Women's Champion at the time.
So through that, I would say her chances are 3 out of 5.
I go 2 out of 5. Right. I mean, because again, she doesn't really need the briefcase. I mean, she would have the means and the motive to, but at the same time, it comes down to necessity. I mean, she can find her way back into a title situation at any time.
Agreed.
So, given how much she's elevated the championship since holding it,
She's really done a great job with that belt.
well, aside from Bayley, but the less said about that, the better. But
That's WWE not knowing how to deal with Bayley.
true. Yeah. So James, I take it over to you. On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely do you think it is that Alexa could really feasibly come out here with the women's Money in the Bank briefcase?
I'd have to say 3.
Okay.
So I'd say pretty middle of the road right here for Alexa.
Yeah. It's not a matter of her wrestling ability. It's a matter of her storyline in terms of having it.
Right. Okay, so now we move the magic fedora over to Charlotte Flair.
The favorite of Julie.
Right. Do we have the photo of Charlotte?
The breaker of the streaks.
Breaker of Oscars. There we go. Okay. So we had Charlotte, who recently qualified for Money in the Bank. And now here's the thing. She recently just lost her championship to another Money in the Bank cash-in, courtesy of Carmella, thanks to being beaten down by the Iconics and more or less left for dead for Carmella to just waltz in, cash in, and moonwalk her way to a championship win. And she recently lost out on her...
She recently lost out on her chance to get the title back.
Right.
And her match against Carmella.
Right.
So she said before when Carmella won, game respects game. So if you want to go storytelling, why not have her win the briefcase and cash in against Carmella again? It's not a bad idea.
I think so. I mean, just because it seems like they're trying to kind of reinvigorate Charlotte this year, having her win against Asuka here, even though she did lose her championship here, it would beg the question. I mean, so say Asuka manages to win the SmackDown Women's Championship from Carmella, overcoming Carmella, overcoming the Iconics, winning the championship. What would and then here you have Charlotte more or less waiting in the wings.
You could have the rematch.
You can have her cash in.
Like,
do what Dean did and cash in after winning.
It could be the same night. I mean, we could have it happen later down the line.
It could have a rematch from WrestleMania. Asuka, Charlotte, SummerSlam.
I was just thinking maybe they might try maybe they tried AJ and Shinsuke and they don't think it's working too well. So their rendition of Kenny and Kazuchika is Charlotte and Asuka.
Charlotte and Asuka. So,
they had a great first run. Why not have them go again? I mean, it's not a bad idea, personally.
It's not. But I mean,
I wouldn't let Asuka lose though. If that's the case.
So wait, you're talking about Okada and Omega
levels for WWE have the women equivalent because they're pushing the women's revolution.
Right. So okay. So you have Charlotte versus. So yeah. So say you have Asuka just trump Carmella, just pure out, just first time out, just completely curb stomps her. Makes it seem effortless. And then suddenly here comes Charlotte, and instead of the Iconics aligning themselves with Carmella like we're expecting, what if they align themselves with Charlotte?
Have the heel turn. That is not a bad idea. I mean, they want to rejuvenate her. She's not exactly that compelling as a face.
So I mean, okay. So getting to the
she's much more like her father, the natural heel.
Right.
Agreed.
Natural heel, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So,
and then when she gets the belt back, she turns to the Iconics. I don't need you anymore.
I think that's too carbon copy with what happened with her dad. I think she holds on to him for a while.
Dana Brooke?
Well, no. I mean, Iconics definitely have more upside than Dana Brooke. Because Dana, again, was someone who was brought up far too soon from NXT. Where the Iconics have been in NXT long enough, they've been ingrained in NXT long enough that they have an idea of who they are on screen, and how they come across.
I think Dana Brooke wrestles a little better than that.
But again, at the same okay, I thought we were still on Charlotte, but all right, apparently we are.
Well, they were talking about Dana Brooke, so they had to bring up the cow.
It brought out the space cow, apparently.
Yeah. So out of all the storytelling options, out of her wrestling ability and Money in the Bank, what are her chances? I would honestly say it's the same as Alexa for me, 3 out of 5.
I actually got to give it a 4. I think Charlotte's got a very strong chance because unlike Alexa, Charlotte's got more of a storyline potential right here to reestablish herself in the championship picture. Alexa's kind of on the outside looking at. She already tried playing her mind game. She's already tried using her cohort. She's already tried everything to get under Nia Jax. It didn't really work for her. So now she's really on the outside. Whereas Charlotte, she's kind of on that precipice. She's on the verge of being on that, the outside looking in right here. But at the same time, she has that opening.
True.
She has that opportunity right here with Money in the Bank. So I think she's got more storyline potential in winning the Money in the Bank than Alexa does.
All right.
James,
what are you thinking?
I have to agree with Ken here. I gotta go with 4.
All right.
Flair, does she really need it? No, but storyline potential. Again, we can do several different things. You can do Asuka. You can move her over to Raw, which.
Sure.
Well, I mean, because you can. This allows you a challenge for either Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. So there's the potential for a brand switch right here. So you could see Charlotte make an immediate jump over.
Okay. How about this? She wins the Money in the Bank. Ronda beats Nia. She can move over whenever she wants. She can use that to set up the Ronda Charlotte match.
So again, yeah, that just ratchets up the storyline potential notch. You could use it on Asuka, set up a match there, or you could use it on.
Apparently Charlotte already inserted herself
on Ronda later down the line, maybe like a potential matchup at SummerSlam.
Yep, she's already positioning her pieces in that promo with Nia and Ronda.
So
you should accept the match.
So yeah, again, more and more potential. Like I said, but I'm sticking with 4 out of 5 here.
Okay.
All right. So
next up was
the former NXT Women's Champion, Ember Moon.
Ember Moon, great high flyer.
Do we have her photo here for Ember Moon? Nick.
So, we were just talking about Austin. She has a great finisher, the Eclipse.
Which does wear a lot on the tailbone from what we can tell, but...
Oh, yeah. But we'll enjoy it while it lasts.
We will. So Ember she's been undefeated since coming to Raw.
Very true.
Basically, she's been on the same role Asuka was, coming out to the main roster. She's gotten some big wins over former women's champions in Alexa, and actually even
she beat Alexa clean.
She beat Alexa clean. It was Whistle. She beat Ruby Riott in a triple threat match, including former Raw Women's Champion Sasha Banks, to qualify for Money in the Bank. So Ember has been rolling. But here's the thing, and I mean, people say, okay, could be beginner's luck. Could be that could be what she's banking on. Pardon the pun. Going into Money in the Bank, I think it's too soon. I don't think she's quite ready. I think more people are looking for her to hit a big eclipse off of a ladder than anything else. I don't think anyone's actually expecting Ember to take it here.
I think she's more the wild card because you can do what they tried doing with Finn. Put a rocket on her the moment she shows up, having her be the top. But as you were saying, the current landscape of Raw involves Ronda Rousey. And I don't think they're going to put a person with a rocket, launch them to the top, and then have them go straight to Ronda.
I think it's too many cooks here.
It's
too many cooks in the kitchen situation right here.
I think Ember's going to need some time to establish herself and her character on the
I
roster.
think she'll be a good. I think she'll be good future challenger for Nia, for Charlotte, for Ronda, whoever happens to be champion at the time. So in that circumstance, I'm going to go middle of the road right here. I'm going to give her a 3.
All right, so I've been giving 3s for the last 2. This one, I'm going to say 2. This one's a little lower in my opinion.
I mean, she does have potential.
Which is why it's not a 1. She has potential, but in terms of everyone else's storylines so far.
I think it's too much. It would be too much too soon to just thrust her right into the picture. Mm-hmm. James?
I agree. I'm going to have to say 2. It's way too early. She'd benefit a lot, but it would be much like the Finn Balor situation. It'd be sending her straight into the fire.
If Finn got a rocket, but then there was too much pressure, and
the fact they got injured first night out, so that hurt it too.
Yeah.
All right. So, moving over to the last known participant in women's Money in the Bank is the Irish lass kicker Becky Lynch.
Now this is the one where I think has the most potential.
All right.
I really do.
Nick, we got Becky Lynch in there.
Becky.
There you go. All right, so Becky's been kind of off the radar for pretty much all of 2018. Didn't really have much of a presence in the first Raw, for the first Women's Royal Rumble. Hasn't really had any sort of presence, actually, even going before the new year. Since losing the SmackDown Women's title, she's kind of like fallen into the background right here, and I think that's part of the reason why I think she's got as much a shot of winning this as anyone. I think even more so Becky's looking for a reason to jump right back into the championship picture. She's that veteran presence that's been off the radar for a while, but looking to get back into the mix. And I think the Money in the Bank is key to her getting back in there. And plus, Becky versus Asuka is a matchup we haven't seen, which could have that could have some potential right there.
The way I see it, the way Becky winning the title can have just as many good guy implications as bad guy implications. Again, she is the veteran that people have forgotten. They bring up the fact that she's the first SmackDown Women's Champion, but they don't really talk about it. She's not talked about like Charlotte. She's always Charlotte's under. And
Exactly.
I can see that pushing her over the edge.
Charlotte's shadow.
Yep.
More or less.
So imagine her winning, and then if Charlotte gets a rematch against Carmella, should she can hold the belt against Asuka, then Becky cashes in on Charlotte. Say, now it's my turn to steal the thunder.
Exactly. Again, just like with Charlotte, there's a lot of storyline potential right here.
But the fact that she hasn't had the spotlight while Charlotte has, I think, gives her a better chance.
So I think actually I'm gonna go top tier on this. I'm gonna say out of 5. I give her a 5.
Same here. Absolutely.
I think she's got the biggest potential out of anyone to win Money in the Bank. Like you said, the veteran presence that a lot of people have seemingly forgot. And she stands to gain the most from this, from a storyline perspective, just in terms of like find your way back into the main event conversation.
Agreed. 5.
Fives all
Fives
around.
Becky is a 5, just so you know.
She is in the ring, in life. She's a 10.
She is.
She's been a 5 so long. She's a 10. All right, so some potential names that are being thrown around for women's Money in the Bank. Before we get to the men's, some potential names. We have Billie Kay of the Iconics. We have Lana, wife of Rusev.
One of those two are definitely going to be in the match.
By the way,
Definitely.
happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
It's nice seeing that they
Much
might
better.
have gotten rid of the whole ditching Aiden storyline.
I mean, why subtract from it? Add on to it.
Exactly.
Adding Lana can't hurt.
No.
I mean, she's popular.
If you're going to have the potential of Ronda winning the championship, Natalya could be a part of the Money in the Bank.
You could throw Natalya back in there, former SmackDown Women's Champion. So there are a few interesting names you could have in the mix for the women's Money in the Bank. Just as equally so is the men's Money in the Bank match, which we'll now cover. So right now we know 6 names that are going to be in the men's Money in the Bank. Nick, can we get the photo for men's Money in the Bank thrown up here?
So for the men's,
Nikki Nouse.
All right.
There we
There
go.
we go.
All right. So right now, as we know, there are 2 open spots for him. Right now, we know that right now from the Raw side, we have Bobby Roode. The glorious Bobby Roode.
Sure.
Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, and KO, the original prize fighter, Kevin Owens.
As well as Finn Balor.
From the SmackDown side right now, we know is going to be Miz and, of course, the progenitor of Rusev Day, Rusev.
With a clean win over Daniel Bryan.
That's the most shocking thing we've seen out of this so far. Of course, 2 open spots, which we will presume are going to go to 2 SmackDown superstars.
It's going to be one of the New Day members.
The New Day, which had a victory over the Bar, which meant that they get the winning team, that being the New Day, got to pick one of their members to be in Money in the Bank, and the other being either the Samoan Submission Machine, the Destroyer, Samoa Joe, versus Big Cass. One of those 2 big men will be in the Money in the Bank as well. Now, for now, let's explore the people we have already in Money in the Bank. Let's start with the glorious one, Bobby Roode. Now, Roode was kind of one of he's what you would call the wild card in all of this, purely because he was an unexpected draft pick in superstar shakeup. We got the Bobby Roode photo. You can tell Nick is just 10 of excited today.
There he is.
There he is. All right. So Rude, and of course Rude is super excited to be in Money in the Bank. Rude, like I said, made the jump from SmackDown to Raw after, unfortunately,
Lackluster.
a very disingenuous run as United States champion, and really kind of flagging along on the blue brand. So a lot of people were hoping that Rude coming over to Raw, the flagship brand would help kind of freshen things up for him.
The flagship brand.
Brand. The bland.
Hey, if it really is the flagship brand, then Bobby Roode does fit it perfectly.
Ouch. Sing.
We know how I feel about Bobby.
All right.
So Bob here.
Bobo.
So this is why
Bobblehead.
This is why he's really the wild card. Everyone knows that he's been very bland, and everyone also knows he's better as a heel.
Right. So,
We've seen people getting the Money in the Bank and using that as a heel tactic and showing that they can be cutthroat when they need to, waiting to the last moment to cash in properly.
but the problem is, like, okay, where you're going for pure star power right here, as much as I agree with you, as much as I would love to see Rude win this and, be Universal Champion or even be WWE Champion, because it's the same token here. All right, whoever wins this has either a briefcase for either a Universal or WWE Championship match. So he could just as easily take the briefcase, jump right back over to SmackDown, and challenge whoever the WWE Champion may be, whether that be Shinsuke, whether it be AJ, or whoever. So we may very well make him make the jump right back over to SmackDown. But even with that potential in mind, I think Rude's just too much of a wild card here. I think we need to have him come up short here at Money in the Bank, then make that big heel turn to see how well it resonates with the audience. I think we need to see kind of how much it would really factor in. It's like with Edge. I mean, yes, when Edge turned heel in 2004, I mean, we wanted to see him come out on top. I mean, he turned heel purely out of frustration. He wasn't getting anywhere. He wasn't getting anywhere as a squeaky clean face. He turned heel, but it wasn't until he won Money in the Bank, it wasn't until he cashed in the following year that he really took off as that next big opportunistic heel.
The way I see it, though, I can honestly see one of the faces like Rusev or Finn on the cusp of getting it, and Bobby just tilting the ladder, pushing them off, getting the big boo because they stopped a fan favorite from getting it, and holding the briefcase. And then next night on Raw, he comes out in a suit with the briefcase, looking prim and proper, and as he would think, glorious. And he just says, "This is why I am who I am," and it works. I could see them doing that properly.
I think, it's like the same with Charlotte. I think there's some big storyline potential right here.
So for Bobby, I'd say 4 for me.
I gotta say 3, just because I see where you're coming from, but I can't. I think he's too. I don't know the proper word for it. I think he's just kind of his
Red
angle,
herring.
Red herring. I think more. I think he could very well be built up as a potential winner, but I think it's going to end up being someone else.
All right.
I kind of got to go middle of the pack right here with 3.
James, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking 3. The only time I can really see him winning is if they're definitely going to turn him heel. They're going to use that as a platform to turn him heel.
Right. I think it's either will they turn him heel because of Money in the Bank, or turn heel because he didn't win Money in the Bank. I think there's that potential too. So I think that's kind of that's the factor right here. It's making me just kind of
the fact that he could turn heel just from not winning as he could for winning. Okay, right. Definitely. All right. So next up on that list was the
monster among men. Get these hands. Well, you get these hands on Money in the Bank. Now, here's the thing. As much as I love Strowman, I'm just going to start the rating out right here. Just because basically we know why Strowman's in here. He's just here to destroy people. He's just here to throw people through ladders.
Much like Big Show was interjected in
a
True.
couple
throw
of years.
people off of ladders, throw people through ladders. So we all know why he's in the match.
Yes.
Okay. He beat Kevin Owens to qualify. Do we have the picture of Braun Strowman?
So he's there in the match, but the likeliness of him actually getting the briefcase.
I gotta say 1.
One agreed.
I gotta say
Agreed.
one. Just
Like,
because
he'll be
Braun
great.
doesn't need the briefcase.
He's
No.
let's put it this way.
He could come out, beat the absolute bejesus out of Brock Lesnar, and boom, there's your
He
championship
can win,
match.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think it would benefit Braun Strowman to come out and say, "I want to cash in now. Now's my best time to get it. Now's the time." No.
He's not what you would call an opportunity. There was only ever one big man who was ever that opportunistic with Money in the Bank, and that was Kane. And he literally cashed in the same night. Since we know Lesnar's not around every single pay-per-view, it wouldn't work the same way.
The only way it would work with him with the briefcase is if he pulled an RVD and he
cashed
said,
in on
"I'm
lo-
using
on-
this. I'm gonna be the next challenger, and this
That's
is
the
what I'm gonna do."
that's the only angle. But considering how unlikely that is,
Yeah, he just won the tag team champions with Nicholas.
I can't. Really? I
He just did.
I thought we
He
weren't
did.
gonna. I thought we weren't gonna bring that up again.
I'm sorry, but Nicholas is a legend.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
undefeated at WrestleMania.
Oh, are you
The
really going the
envy.
Michael Cole route here? Oh, good
The
God.
envy of all 10-year-olds.
Oh, jeez. Oy.
Braun Strowman does not need the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Money in
to
the bank.
become- Hey,
Beefcase?
you
money,
do
money,
know if
money,
he gets
money
the
in
money
the brink.
If he gets the money,
He's
in
on the brink.
If he gets the Money in the Bank briefcase, he'll fill it with beef. It'll be the Money in the Bank briefcase.
On the frank.
He'll
the
fill it with
beefcase.
Chipotle.
One. Everyone agrees it's a one.
It's a one. Hands down.
Next on that list was
I believe
Miz.
the Miz.
Miz.
And oh god.
storytelling.
There's a
Definitely
lot of so much so that could be this could be interspersed with his feud with Daniel Bryan. There's so much potential right here. All right, so Miz won after getting a shocking victory over United States champion Jeff Hardy, reversing a swanton and a cradle into a cradle of his own, getting the surprise 3 count right here. So Miz is basically, according to him, the man himself, is looking to recreate the same run he had in 2010 by basically winning the briefcase and going on to be WWE champion again.
And here's the thing: I don't think anyone in WWE or in the fan base would actually be against him getting another title run.
No, and
what better way for an opportunistic guy like The Miz than to do it the way he did the first time, the Money in the Bank briefcase?
exactly. Now, I mean, this could go so many ways. I mean, you could have him jump over to Raw and like capitalize on, say, if Reigns has to like basically wear himself out to death to win the Universal title. You could have Miz cash in and prove to be yet another spoiler for Roman Reigns. You could have him. Okay, you could have Bryan somehow work his way up
That's
to
the way
winning the
I'd do
championship from, say, Shinsuke Nakamura, and suddenly, boom, Cass comes out, lays him out with a big boot, and suddenly here comes Miz, Money in the Bank briefcase.
And
I would honestly have
essentially
him cash in
skull
on-
crushing finale, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I would
he did to
definitely
Randy
have
Orton.
him win over Daniel Bryan if he were to get it.
I think that would
be perfect.
That would
build up
that would
more
that would
to
kick
an
their
already
feud
built
into,
up
that would
feud.
kick their feud into overdrive.
Yeah.
You see this,
basically.
Daniel? I was able to win this without injuring myself. I had to win it by injuring you.
There you go. I think just like with Strowman, I gotta go. Well, I'm not Strowman. Who did I say for the
Becky?
Just like for Becky, for the Miz, that veteran presence that's been kind of on the cusp, kind of been looking to get back into the big picture. I gotta give Miz 5. I gotta give him.
I have to agree. I have to give Miz 5.
I'm going to go with 4.
Fives.
I'm a little bit under because I see someone else having a better reason to get it.
All right.
But I would not be hurt to see
Well,
Miz get
do
it.
we have a picture of the Miz, Nick?
So first Miz,
First Miz.
and then...
There you go.
Would be Rusev, I think, next?
I think Rusev.
I think it was Rusev.
Yeah,
I think
Rusev.
Rusev-
Rusev, please. Rusev Day.
Rusev Day.
Okay, so Rusev is surprise entrance.
Surprise in the sense that he got the person like he beat was Daniel Bryan. Clean. No, like
That
very
was a
little
surprise.
interference, very little outside help from Aiden English. Rusev basically won this under his own volition, just because Brian was just too worn out from being beaten up by Cass.
I like that storyline. Basically, Daniel Bryan came back from the Greatest Royal Rumble with a very sliced open chest. Then he beats Big Cass, just to get beaten up after.
Again. And Cass has been proven to be that proverbial fly in the ointment for Brian. Basically, he can't, anywhere Brian goes, like Cass said, he'll be there to spoil things for Brian. So I think even once Brian, like I said, if Brian somehow makes it back to the top, Cass will be there to knock him right back down.
So we could already be getting the Cass Miz team up, just not with them being a tag team.
Right. All right. So do we have the Rusev picture?
So Rusev is just like Bobby Roode. He is the wild card in this, a big wild card.
So
are they actually going to give him a briefcase because of how over he is with the fans?
Right. And in the same vein, like again, we were talking about Lana as one of the potential participants. Could we actually be seeing the formation of the first ever Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank? The first time we have a married couple holding the briefcases at the same time.
I don't know how I feel about Lana being the women's champ.
I don't know. I know she's not ready. I think more it would be banking off of Rusev's popularity that they would consider putting the briefcase on her.
Well, if that was the case, I could consider him already saying they are Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank if with just him as the as the title holder.
Exactly. So as far as potential for Rusev goes, again, like he's in that I think he's in the same wild card scenario, a similar wild card scenario as Rude. So I'm gonna give him I know, kind of like I'd say like more like 3.5, maybe like 3.5 to 4. Like I think he does have some like big potential right here.
I think that he is a big chance.
I think
surprise.
Purely based on his popularity.
Don't forget they did have that Intercontinental ladder match at Mania, which they had Zack Ryder win, and it was only for a day, but it was a big pop.
I mean, you never know.
They would not be remiss to give the current fans something they really want to cheer for.
All right. So 3.5 for me.
I'm gonna go 2. Honestly, I don't see them giving it to him. I'm not so convinced that they're done with the breaking up the Rusev Day, and they could use that as Rusev getting very angry at Aiden English for not helping him win. Unfortunately,
True.
I'm gonna go 3. I can't really see them actually going through with it and putting the briefcase on him.
Okay. All right. So next participant in the men's Money in the Bank match that we know of, of course,
the smiling
Finn
Balor.
the smiling, overly big-necked Finn Balor.
He's in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and it is too sweet.
It could be even sweeter if he actually manages to pull it off. All right. So do you have Finn Balor, Nick?
So,
Earth to Nick.
he's got it.
There we go.
he is.
There it is.
So Finn Balor. So here's the thing about Finn. Out of everybody in this match that we know of, and the potential final 2, he has the most to gain from winning, in my opinion, because he was the one who was pushed to high heaven the moment he got on the main roster. He was Triple H's guy for the longest time, and then he got injured. And then when he came back,
the night he won the Universal Championship,
I know.
and he really hasn't gotten back to that. He hasn't gotten back to the peak. Because of course, who could with Lesnar and Reigns taking out the title picture?
On the journey to Reigns Lesnar at 34, one of the talks at the Royal Rumble was supposed to be Lesnar versus Finn Balor, and Vince pulled him, saying that no one would believe Finn versus Lesnar, that Finn could win. So, you
could say that just about anyone.
I know. So get this:
Except
what if
for
Vince,
Reigns.
for some crazy reason, because we know he's crazy, was thinking long game, and they actually had it where they had Finn cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Lesnar after one of his matches to win? They could do that.
I mean, they could.
Or they could have him turn heel on somebody.
I see it more likely.
Have him go to SmackDown, feud with AJ or Shinsuke.
That I could see.
Okay, definitely big
There's
one.
definitely a big potential right there. Basically, just because I would love to see like a mini club feud going on, kind of like
So it goes to SmackDown.
basically like a little civil war right there between
AJ and Finn.
And the Good Brothers, they're almost divided. They can't decide who they want. Do they align themselves with the original leader of the Bullet Club or the man who usurped him?
Would they pull a Young Bucks and actually kind of split Gallows and Anderson?
Book out.
I could see that would be hard to call. That would be hard to
Think
call.
about it. AJ did just get Carl Anderson's head caved in because of Shinsuke.
So, I mean, there's
So
potential.
Anderson siding with Finn and Gallows siding with AJ.
Definitely.
It could work.
I definitely. So, not so much on the Raw side, but I definitely see this potential him winning the briefcase and jumping over to SmackDown.
I see him winning it mostly because it'll keep him as a main event face, which they have not had in a while.
It'll keep people talking about
It'll keep him relevant.
It'll keep him
That is
relevant.
why I'm giving him my 5. I see him with the most potential.
I'm going to give him
taking
a 4, just because, like I said, I don't like. I see storyline potential, but more on him jumping to SmackDown rather than having anything going on over on Raw. Because, like I said, as long as Reigns and Lesnar are taking up the title picture, he's got no benefit there. SmackDown, yes. Raw, no. So I'm talking about like full potential on either side right here, and he doesn't have any of that as long as Reigns and Lesnar are hogging up the title picture on.
I agree. 4 for me as well.
All right.
Okay, so I believe the final participant, the
KO.
final known participant, is KO, who recently
Fedora Owens.
yeah, KO,
KFO.
KFO.
Oh,
I'm,
he's a Kevin flying
Fedora
object.
Owens. Okay.
His
Are you
bullfrog.
KFO?
An unknown Kevin flying object.
An unknown Fedora object. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about Kevin Owens.
So
Moving on.
He's
Kevin
been a
Owens.
prominent.
KO.
He's been a prominent part of a lot of ladder matches.
He has. I mean, like he's been in Intercontinental title ladder matches. He's been in previous Money in the Bank ladder matches. Here he is celebrating with his good friend. Frenemy forever.
Sami
Sami Zayn.
I love their feud.
Sammy, who was responsible actually for KO. Well, KO got himself. Actually, KO technically had 2 qualifying matches. The first one he lost to Braun Strowman.
Yep.
But then he basically guilted, threatened, blackmailed Kurt Angle into getting another opportunity, replacing injured Jinder Mahal. Thanks. Replacing Jinder Mahal in a triple threat match, also including Elias and Bobby Lashley. It seemed like Lashley was closing in on qualifying for Money in the Bank. Here comes Sammy out of nowhere, who's had a beef with Lashley over the last week. Taking him out with a hoover kick, allowing Owens to capitalize with a frog splash onto Elias for the 3 count and qualifying for Money in the Bank, slipping in thanks to Sammy.
So Kevin is known for one thing when it comes to big matches involving weapons. He likes to set up these elaborate
Death traps,
and he always falls victims to them.
Right.
Because it's a lot of fun. You know, I remember the one where he set up all those chairs and he was going to attack Dean, and Dean just smacked him and he just fell into all the chairs. But if Kevin were to win, he would need to help. He'd need the help of Sammy. Sammy is not going to survive Bobby Lashley.
No.
So because of that, there is Kevin Owens. The opportunistic Kevin Owens will not have the chance to win.
Oh, just on a small side about Bobby Lashley, I'm glad they finally remembered that he had a finisher besides the running power slam and the spear. He had the Dominator. Good to know that Ron Simmons wasn't completely keeping it locked up.
Well, you know what he was saying the moment he saw that they were letting Lashley use it, right?
Right.
Damn.
So, Bobby Lashley's going to kill Sammy. Sammy's not going to be able to help Kevin. Kevin's not going to get his chance to win back the Universal title, which he should. Which he still has a rematch
He still has a legit rematch because he never cashed in his rematch when Goldberg beat him for it last year.
He really needs to talk to Kurt Hawkins about what to do about that.
Kurt Hawkins?
Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel?
He still has not been eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
Oh, good grief.
Axelmania rolls
he
on.
Was. Yeah, he was tossed last year. Come on.
Yes, but he needs to be tossed twice. Someone needs to throw him back in.
You and your logic. You're getting the Greg territory. You know that.
Until they acknowledge it, I will not let them ignore it.
I will not let it go unheard.
Hey, I want Kevin to be champ again. I loved it when he was champ, but this now is not the time.
Yeah. I gotta
One
go.
for me.
Yeah, two for me. Just because I see him being like like I said, like the big spots, the big complicated death trap type spots, along with Strowman.
I see Finn doing a coup de grace from its ladder. I see him doing pretending that he's gonna do a frog splash.
A lot of big potential big spots.
Cannonball.
Yeah.
So him putting a ladder on someone
Right,
in a cannonball.
exactly. So yeah, two for me. Just because, like I said, all the potential big spots. I just don't see him winning it. I like I said, possibly moving over to SmackDown. I mean, to get any sort of separation from Sammy, I think would be nice. I mean,
I personally don't agree. I love having them. I love the thought of them being stuck
if
together.
If they're
no
a
matter
tag,
what.
if they're a coherent tag team, yes. If they're gonna keep doing the whole tease thing, split tease thing,
Well, they did it with Jericho and it didn't go anywhere.
it's gonna get but it's gonna get old quick. People are gonna come to realize that this is just basically Jericho 2.0.
Well, maybe they're letting it run until Jericho comes back.
No, I'm gonna say two as well. The only real way I can see him winning is if he jumps over to SmackDown, takes the title,
I think that's kind of
and
the funny.
gives it a stick to Shane or.
I think that's the funny thing. Just because of the Raw titles, the Universal title situation, a lot of our discussions, a lot of our potential situations involve a number of superstars jumping over to SmackDown. I think that's just how clogged up the championship situation is on Raw. How bad
It sucks. It really shouldn't be
right
that way. But it's just how it is. Lesnar is champ, and he's going to be champ until he beats CM Punk's record, and then he'll drop it whenever he cares.
So three potential entrants we have. Five, I guess, if you count all of New Day. You have one member of the New Day, whether that be Big E, Kofi, or Xavier.
Yeah.
I mean, smart money right now is running on Big E being entered in. I mean, okay, so I mean, if you want to enter in Big E as participant, choose him. I'd say why not? Because I mean, Big E I think has the most upside in terms of singles potential. Just because, like, I mean, Vince is big on him, management's big on Big E. Imagine that. They're big on Big E.
They're big on E.
Yeah, they're big on the E in WWE. So I could see him. I could see him making. It would be interesting to see if he were to somehow win the briefcase. If Big E would either use the New Day to win or make an immediate split from the New Day. I mean, another possibility. I mean, you have is Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. I mean, he was unsuccessful against Reigns, but he's looking to make his presence known on SmackDown.
He was unsuccessful against Lesnar.
Right. So at the same time, I mean, and he has history with AJ Styles. He's been successful against Shinsuke in NXT, being the first ever two-time NXT World Champion.
Very true.
So he has history on his side, and he has the potential to unseat pretty much any champion not named Brock Lesnar at this point.
Basically.
So Joe's got some big potential. Cass, I kind of gotta rank low right here, just because he's too, pardon the pun, he's too raw. Like he's again 7 foot, big potential, but he's still got ways to go here.
Yeah.
And again, he's got the heat on him from his unfortunate angle with the Daniel Bryan
Do
impersonator.
not underestimate how much he can hurt you. Baron Corbin lost his briefcase because of the fact that he had heat on him.
Right. So, I mean, no matter how much potential you have, if you screw up in Vince's eyes, it doesn't do you a whole lot of favors.
Yes.
All right, so there's that. And, speaking of Big Cass, I guess the former smaller half of Big Cass, something we can talk about now to close out the show. Small little thing. We talked about a couple months ago about the unfortunate situation involving Enzo Amore, a.k.a. Eric Arndt.
Eric Arndt.
Over allegations of sexual harassment from a female fan who she claims Enzo accosted her several times in his hotel room. Supposedly there were drugs and other things involved in the mix right here. Now we could talk. It has been recently. The news has been broken this past week.
He's not going to face charges.
He's not going to face charges. The case has officially been dropped. Has been confirmed by the defendant, and Enzo and his lawyer. The case has been dropped.
So I'm not gonna say good news. Obviously good news
Well,
for
good
Eric,
news-
but
good
I'm
news
not
for
gonna
Enzo.
say I'm happy for him because we don't have proof that he didn't do it.
Exactly, because the reason this was dropped was primarily, I mean, the defendant was her own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Right here for a slew of reasons. The fact that she was already a quote unquote popular individual in social media. She didn't exactly endear herself with that sort of attitude and how she came across to people in social media on Snapchat. We won't be disclosing her name or info, by the way. And the fact is the fact that she, even after supposedly this whole situation went down, she was still exchanging texts with Enzo, which was again confirmed by her. Basically, she contributed like 3-4 different versions of the story of what happened, basically changing the term sex to rape, and basically she presented a different story every time she would come on to talk about it, and no one could ever like verify any of her stories, no matter what version came out. So unfortunately, she made the person that made things most difficult for her was her.
Yeah.
Was the defendant.
Yeah.
So the question now stems: what's next for Eric?
What's next for Enzo? Here's the thing. I mean, WWE dismissed Enzo not so much for the allegations.
No, it's because the fact that he didn't warn them in advance that it could happen.
He didn't warn them in advance. He didn't give them time to play proper damage control, proper PR, and because of that, it came up at the worst possible time on the eve of Raw's 25th anniversary, a moment that Vince was fully
Moving on.
and emotionally devoted to, that really threw him off.
Not just that, this is coming at the end of a string of things that Enzo was just getting, tons of heat
Moving
backstage
on.
for. Basically, WWE will not take him back.
And I think even if WWE did extend some sort of olive branch right here, I wouldn't see Enzo going back to that sort of atmosphere.
I think he's done with wrestling personally. I think he's trying to try a rap career from a hearing.
Oh, good luck to him on that.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll go so much better.
I think he's done.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings us to the end of episode 218 of the Wrestling Connection. I want to thank James for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
having me here.
So next week, Dan and I will be breaking down in our next Money in the Bank feature the best and worst of Money in the Bank case holders. Who's the best? Who's the worst? Basically, just a complete history of Money in the Bank, all the way back to when Edge first won in 2005 to last year's winner, Baron Corbin. All right. So in the meantime, like I said, you can catch all of our episodes on Bedford TV's YouTube channel and, of course, on the WrestlingConnection.com. You can also check out our Facebook page, our Twitter handle @WConnection, and of course, we're all over social media. We're everywhere. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Like I said, we got our own website. We're everywhere nowadays. All right. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So like I said, stay tuned next week for episode 219 of the Wrestling Connection. But in the meantime, for Nick Giglio, for Greg Dolan, for everyone, for everyone here at Bedford TV.
For everyone except him.
For everyone except Mr. No Show.
For Miss Julie Manugan, for the current Big Four champion Allison, for her cousin James, for
Somehow I preferred to moving on. All right. So anyway, we want to wish you a happy and safe weekend, and remind you, as always, to be connected.
Get connected.
Stay
connected. You have a good weekend. You have a good weekend, and stay connected, everyone.
I'm gonna be 30 tomorrow.
Happy birthday to you. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's some things that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the wrestling connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da doo. Da 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 dee da doo. Ooh, yeah.